mentorship spirit to guide fellow students coming behind us. So we've seen quite a lot of things on social media, like you mentioned, like, and all we experience around make me to see that like the country will not grow unless we touch the education aspect of our country that is already affected with quite a lot of disintegrity, dishonesty, and all. But I've discovered that the society, like right to the primary school level, like ní a ti ní issue nǹkan tí academic integrity tí kò fi wà ní society wa mọ́. And what happened? I don't want to go deep in primary education too much, but error wà ní aspect a ṣe ń treat àwọn ọmọ kékeré yẹn náà. Tábà wo ọmọ kékeré mi, I've corrected quite a lot of people tí wọ́n gbá assignment fún ọmọ kékeré and ní ilé bóyá nítorí pé àwọn òpè ọmọ yẹn waste time wa a máa gbàwé yẹn lọ́wọ́ a máa bá ṣe. So jẹ́ kó ọmọ yẹn ní sense of belonging pé jẹ́ kémi náà tiẹ̀ try láti ṣe kínní àbí ká máa kọ́ ó yá kọ́ 2+2 ó yá ẹni kó count ẹ̀. So a lot of and nǹkan tó fa a lot of this náà pé èwo náà òbí náà ló mọ bó ṣe ń kọ́ ọmọ. So òbí tí wọn bó ṣe ń kọ́ ọmọ táwọn náà kó assignment tó pọ̀ fún lọlé tó máa di issue wọn máa kàn ní kó bá ṣe ìnáwó kó bá kọ́ ni because wọn prepare wọn to be independent, and that is where the issue is actually coming in the long run for us. Ọmọ tí we understand our country, and it's not even only Nigeria. Quite a lot of countries in the world are facing the issue of human capacity development in terms of so then translate say unemployment. Ríṣẹ́. So our graduates máa parí wọn ní kò sí ṣe and they are good. Like quite a lot of people, and there are others that àwọn náà ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó. Kí ló fà? Because this brain, we've not trained it to be creative, we've not trained it to be independent. Tí kíní ò bá tiẹ̀ lọ, kí nìkan mí náà fẹ́mi náà lè ṣe fúnra mi. So academic integrity nǹkan tó máa bí fún wa. Aside from the fact that ó máa ran ọmọ yẹn náà lọ́wọ́ fúnra rẹ̀ to be independent, because ìwọ tó bá yẹ pé fúnra rẹ̀ ó ti mọ̀ pé ìwé yìí ti máa kà máa pass. So fúnra rẹ̀ ó ti mọ̀ wá ti máa ronú ọ̀nà àti máa succeed fúnra rẹ̀ even without anybody helping you at all. So you don't need to depend on anyone before you make it in life. Once you have that plan, okay, this is the goal, this is what I want to achieve. But wá ti di pé ọmọ yẹn tó máa ń depend léyàn náà ni pé àwọn máa fún ara school náà pé kíni. So wọ́n máa parí school náà, you always depend on people to succeed, and it will affect our country in the general sense. So I actually missed my school matriculation ceremony because of this issue. And what happened? We had an orientation for ND1 students at public admin department, and we are treating something on corruption and how it is affecting the public sector, being students of public administration. And the lecturer was making points on aspect of convocation and all. So although they asked a question and answer, and I asked a question that as a fresh student right now, and we are treating corruption that okay after graduation, come out by bribe, so that we should deliver our work diligently. But then our new school by clean law on corruption before we are being given assignments, before we are being given probably list of automatic tests or anything, you must buy textbook. Auto battery textbook, they will not even give you assignment at all. So what does that mean? Textbook should be something like, yes, it's actually needed. For me, I buy textbooks a lot. But we have the school library. So students should be able to go to the library and study on their own to pass. So I can encourage you and say yes, but you shouldn't force people to buy that thing. So when I ask that question, okay, well, yeah, you would know, and it is written on our student course form that selling of textbook to students is prohibited except the university library. So I asked that question, and then the next thing, everybody was praising me. So the lecturer answered the question. No, they actually collected the mic. The HOD of the bank collected the mic and answered the question. It doesn't happen here because you actually want to protect the image of the department. But it's something that is happening. And what happened afterwards? The lecturer walked into the midst of the students and instigated them that ọmọ yẹn ti kó báyìí.
Àìkábọ̀ sórí ètò Funfact. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ ṣe ti mọ̀, orúkọ tèmi ò yí padà látàná sí tòkè mi. Bẹ́ẹ̀ Mẹ́dọ̀láwọ̀ mi ni orúkọ tèmi, mi dẹni máa ń kọ́ ètò yìí lénìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe ti máa ń kọ́ ẹ̀ látàná. Àwọn tí máa ń ṣe fún ládéhùn náà nítorí gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n bá máa gbé wá sórí ètò yìí, àwọn tí wọ́n máa wá ṣe wá láǹfààní tí wọ́n máa kọ́ wa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. People that will be here to educate us, to enlighten us some facts ẹ pé nítorí pé kò yé wa. Òun náà dẹ̀ ní ta fi gbé ètò yìí kalẹ̀. Is a space provided for sharing experience and educating the world. Láká fi máa fi tí ò yé àwọn èèyàn ká máa fi yé àwọn èèyàn. Wọ́n máa ń sábà ń sọnú ọ̀rọ̀ mi pé tábà wo tí social media ní táyé yẹn dà ń sìn. Social media ló carry most of nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ayé ìsìn. àwọn ọmọ ò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ kàwé mọ́ a ṣe anything mọ́ but tẹ́ bá dé orí social media oríṣiríṣi nǹkan la máa bá ń bẹ̀ oríṣiríṣi àwọn ọmọ la máa bá ń bẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ ṣe wípé kinní yẹn ló ṣe kinní ló ń carry wọn along tí wọ́n fi ń live daily life wọn nísìnyí wọn làánà fi wọ pé ìnà ọ̀hún ká gbé platform kékeré ìkalẹ̀ ká máa fi ṣe àwọn ọmọ ayé láǹfààní lóòótọ́ a máa rí tó dá a máa rí tí ò dá lórí social media but I believe our lovers in tí wọ́n fi ń tẹ̀lé wa ò ju pé à ń fún wọn ní tí ó ń jẹ́ àǹfààní fún wọn ní tí wọ́n ń kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ lórí ẹ̀ mo tún ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́sẹ̀ ti tèmi ẹni tí mo tiẹ̀ tó wá gbé wá lọ́sẹ̀ tèmi yìí ó kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ in fact I don't even know me mo bí mo ṣe máa ròyìn wọn àmọ́ tí a bá dọ́dọ̀ wọn wọ́n máa sọ orúkọ wọn fún wa àwọn á sọ bí lifestyle ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí àwa náà dẹ̀ máa ṣe kíni tí a máa kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ní tí òun ṣe kékeré lórí ètò ilé mi. You are welcome to this program, sir.
All right.
And we appreciate the fact that you are here today, sir.
Thank you very much.
We know you to be a busy person to the core. But even with the fact that you're busy, ẹ tún wáyé fún wa pé ẹ fẹ́ wá ṣe àwọn ọmọ yẹn láǹfààní. Níta mọ̀ yín mọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ náà ni pé ẹ máa ń sábà ṣe àwọn yẹn láǹfààní. Even if I don't know you physically, I've seen you on social media. So tí kì í ṣe ẹ̀kan tí kì í ṣe méjì. Countless times tá a mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin náà ń publish nǹkan tẹ́ fi ń ṣe àwọn yẹn láǹfààní. I will appreciate the fact that you are here, sir. The entire team Funfact, mo tún jẹ́ Funfact pátápátá, I will say a big thanks to you, sir. Thank you for coming to this program. Ká tó mọ wá lọ, our viewers will be like, talent tàbí wá lọ sẹ́yìn. We want to know the person. Ṣé lè bá wa sọ orúkọ yín? Kí ni báwo ni lifestyle yẹn ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀? Ibo la bí yín sí? Educational life yẹn, ibo ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ gan sà?
Alright, ẹ káàsán gbogbo ara lè mú kí dáadáa. My name is AZEEZ ALAMU, and I'm preferably addressed as Mr. Nigeria.
Wow, that's good.
And there was a reason for that name. The name is not born out of the fact that I'm a politician or probably because I engage myself in politics. So, mo jẹ́ ọmọ bíbí ìlú Nigeria because I always love to address myself as a citizen of Nigeria first, before any other state in Nigeria. And I was born and brought up in Lagos, specifically Badia Ijora community of Lagos. And like we all know, Badia Ijora is a community with a negative image on social media. Yes, but I'm very happy for the fact that our Ọlọ́run bá jẹ́ kí wọ́n Ọlọ́run bá ó fi wá mọ̀nà. I will just put it down because it's actually God. It's not born out of contempt or any other thing. So we're able to grow up in Badia. I started my primary education in Badia, specifically Anzaudin Primary School. And from there, I transformed to secondary school in Surulere side of Lagos. Then the Polytechnic Ibadan, where I studied public administration. And it was at the Polytechnic Ibadan that the journey to academic success actually started. Because right from there, I tried to mingle with quite a lot of people, forming academic groups that we can study. And as God will have it, I finished as the best writing student at Polytechnic Ibadan. And from there to the University of Ilorin. And Ilorin was just a miracle. I would just call it God's miracle as well, because for the past 40 years since the establishment of my department, 1982 to 2022 precisely, that I graduated, there has never been a first-class graduate.
Wow.
And as God will have it, I happen to be the first student to graduate the first-class degree in political science at Faculty of Social Science, University of Ilorin. And it has always been then that I have this mentorship spirit to guide fellow students coming behind us. So we've seen quite a lot of things on social media, like you mentioned, and all we've experienced around make me to see that the country will not grow unless we touch the educational aspect of our country that is already affected with quite a lot of disintegrity, dishonesty, and all. People don't want to read, people don't want to study, and those who actually want to do it, they are feeling challenged, probably because they don't know the right road to pass. But because we've been able to see some people put us through, we try to also come into the truth and see how we can also assist our fellow students, and that's why I'm staying in this space up to this moment.
Wow, that's very great, sir. But ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ kọ́lẹ̀ kan, mo máa ń sábà fẹ́ point ẹ̀ jáde because ẹ sọ̀lẹ̀ kan, you said a lot of people ní tí wọ́n mọ bá díà mọ̀ problem níbi wàhálà.
Yes.
And I'll be glad to say that nínú àwọn tí mo ti ń gbé wá sórí ètò because I was born and brought up in Badia as well. Mo ti kóyàn tó lé ní 15 wá sórí ètò, and they are from Badia as well. Wọn ò wá kí n ṣèyàn lásán, they are all graduates. And in fact, even if you listen to their speech, tẹ́ bá gbọ́n tí wọ́n sọ nínú ọ̀rọ̀, they are speaking fluently. Kò dẹ̀ sí problem pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n padà ń bi mí pé the same Badia tí wọ́n máa address pé bóyá wàhálà wà ń bẹ̀. So mo máa ń fẹ́ kí a clear it because our society is what it is. Àwa la ní àdúgbò wa. So in tí wọ́n bá ń sọ ń pa ẹ̀, táwa náà bá ní àǹfààní kan àbí ta ní platform kan tá lè máa fi yí ìwòrí àwọn èèyàn padà pé ní tẹ̀ ń sọ ń pa bíbá ẹ̀ lóòótọ́ ní tẹ̀yìn rí nìyẹn. there are some other aspects tó yẹ pé Badia ti ń produce àwọn èèyàn tẹ́ pé ẹ lérò nínú wọn náà tún lẹ́yìn náà wà. Thanks for being a good representative. Tẹ́ bá wá bí báyìí tẹ́ bá àbí tó bá pé bòmí lẹ́tí lọ represent Badia níbi nǹkan mí náà wọ́n ṣe máa sọ pé Badia náà nìyẹn. Thanks for being a good representative, sir.
Thank you very much. Mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí rẹ̀ because kò ń ṣe nǹkan tó ń rí nǹkan tí wọ́n ń gbọ́ ni. tó tá wá ní nǹkan tó ń gbọ́ àwọn owó náà sọ àwa tá à ń gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni. So if the people residing in a particular community are speaking good of that community, definitely àwọn aráàta ìròyìn dáadáa náà máa gbọ́ ń pa ẹ̀. Recently, I think it was last week, nǹkan kan ṣẹlẹ̀ ní I read something on social media. Something happened in Ghana láàrin a Ghanaian and his Senegalese. What happened? Wọ́n náà kidnap a footballer from Senegal ní Ghana. Wọ́n dẹ̀ pa but wọ́n fẹ́ gba ransom ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn gan wọ́n dẹ̀ padà pa ẹni yẹn. Under the comment section of that particular page, everything tó wà ń bẹ̀ was pointing at Nigeria. Àwọn ọmọ Nigeria yẹn olóyìnbó yẹn lọ́lẹ́ àwọn ọmọ Nigeria kò. So that's because what we Nigerians, majority of Nigerians on social media post on social media is about the negative sentiment about Nigeria. So ìyẹn náà papọ̀ mọ́ ara ti Badia náà. Táwọn ọmọ Badia wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní publish the positive side of Badia. The world will see the positive aspect of us and not otherwise of what they speak or say about our community.
That's good. Ẹni tó fi dáná nìyẹn kí èèyàn máa jẹ́ good ambassador of gbogbo ibi tí ò bá ti kó ti jáde. Bóyá inú ilé yín ni, bóyá àdúgbò yín ni, bóyá ní ẹ̀kọ́ lélẹ́yìn náà jẹ́ fáwa náà. And I believe a lot of my people will be like, so view ta fi máa ń wo Badia pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn tèmi ti gbé wá sórí ètò yìí ó ti máa change reasoning wọn. And thank you for that, sir. I really appreciate, sir. Àwọn ìbéèrè ta fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín ó pọ̀, sir. A kàn fẹ́ clarify àwọn kankan ni. Ṣé mo pé mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo láyè the world is evolving, social media is evolving. Ó wá nira fún àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n ń gbèrò tí wọ́n ń kàwé sí. Ó wá bring about difficulty in our daily life, in our academic sections. Ó wá ní wípé we see examination malpractice as a breakthrough, as a pathway, as the best way to whatever we want to do in Nigeria. But before we move there, in your own view, can you tell us academic integrity? How do you see academic integrity in this our own society?
All right. Thank you very much for that question. And like I always say, for me, academic integrity is something we need to quite like work on, like a lot. Right from our immediate family down to national development. And what is this? Academic integrity, like you should try and maintain honesty, trustworthiness, and ensure there is no cheating, there is no answers academic integrity as far as but I've discovered that the society, like right to the primary school level, like issue because the academic integrity in society. And what happened? I don't want to go deep in primary education too much, but error one aspect I should treat our career. I've corrected quite a lot of people. See, on assignment for my career, and I will go waste time. I'm a bashi. So any sense of belonging. Not yet try. That is shaking. I become a call. 2+2. Any count it. So a lot of a lot of this be it won't no be no low motion common. So between motion common that no assignment so called from lole. So my the issue on my come back scene or come back on. And from that aspect, you're not going put me issues on. I will see secondary school level. Secondary school, I happen to be teaching secondary school students currently, and what I observe is over to the time exam. Because some of I want to one of them they cannot do without expo. They cannot just do without bringing some tip into the exam. But there are some of them I want to share it on in that aspect. Okay, want to my question men no man can answer. Come at topic. They will form a group of probably 5 or 6. I come at question. Then when they get to the exam, exchange. Me number 1, one number 3, one number 4, and then they mix it up. They are at the university level, this thing continues. But if you see what's in affect to time to admission for more school, I will be much job, pass, they are ready to spend on anything. What happened? The result is always very worrisome because one to be independent, and that is where the issue is actually coming in the long run for us. we understand our country, and it's not even only Nigeria. Quite a lot of countries in the world are facing the issue of human capacity development in terms of, to then translate sí unemployment. Ríṣẹ́. So our graduates máa parí wọn ní kò síṣẹ́, and they are good. Like quite a lot of people, and there are others that àwọn náà ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó. Kí ló fà á? Because this brain, we've not trained it to be creative, we've not trained it to be independent. Tí kíní ò bá tiẹ̀ lọ, kí nìkan mìíràn tẹ́mi náà lè ṣe fúnra mi? So academic integrity, nǹkan tó máa bí fún wa, aside from the fact that ó máa ran ọmọ yẹn náà lọ́wọ́ fúnra rẹ̀ to be independent, because ìwọ tó bá yẹ pé fúnra rẹ̀ ó ti mọ̀ pé ìwé yìí ti máa kà máa pass, so fúnra rẹ̀ ó ti mọ̀ wá ti máa ronú ọ̀nà àti máa succeed fúnra rẹ̀ even without anybody helping you at all. So you don't need to depend on anyone before you make it in life. Once you have that plan, okay, this is the goal, this is what I want to achieve. But wá ti di pé ọmọ yẹn tó máa ń depend léyàn náà ni pé àwọn máa fún wa respo náà pé kíni, so wọ́n máa parí school náà, we always depend on people to succeed, and it will affect our country in the general sense. The another aspect of it náà ni pé if we don't manage academic integrity a lot, like tá a bá manage it dáadáa, ó máa affect the country in terms of producing quack graduates, like unprofessional, unqualified set of people. So àwọn tó yẹ pé wọn ò mọ̀ nípa nǹkan tí wọ́n lọ fún gan ní school. You can imagine the students who go to school and study let me say biochemistry for instance, and a graduate of biochemistry, he happened to gain admission into an industrial probably a paint industry. So he or she does not even understand the chemical composition to mix a paint, because ìgbà tí wọ́n ń kọ́ wọn kò tiẹ̀ fọkàn sí nǹkan tó wà ń bẹ̀ ni pé wọ́n máa fún wa lẹ́sìpò náà, ẹ máa worry, a máa succeed. So when you depend on that a lot, it will affect us and it will affect the country in large one.
Thank you very much for that, sir. And I will be asking again, sir, what do you think is contributing to this examination malpractice? One, is it pressure to succeed in life? Or two, do you see it as a failed system of our poor educational system? Kí lẹ wò pé bóyá ó ń fa tó ń promote tó ń contribute sí education malpractice tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní country wa yìí? Ṣé a máa sọ pé pressure pé èmi náà ṣàfẹ́ dín ìyọnu ayé, I want to succeed in life? Is it the pressure that is making us engaging in educational malpractice? Or you think that the educational system is very poor? Ṣé poor educational system wa ló ń fà á ni? Àbí torí pé àwọn agbègbè fúnra wa ń sáré to be great in life?
For us in the public sector, public policy sector, I study political science and I'm currently majoring in public policy. And what we understood as policy is what the government choose to do or not choose to do. So in total government pé jẹ́ ká ṣe lé, we call it public policy. Tí government bá tún láwọn ṣe kíní ẹ̀ náà, it is still public policy. Ọ̀nà àdúgbò bàjẹ́, the government decide not to do it. It is a policy on the part of the government. Perhaps probably during voting period, àwọn àdúgbò yẹn wọ́n dìbò fún government, and government feel like ká fi ilé náà ká fi dá sẹ́ríà fún wọn. It is a policy on the part of the government. So tó bá decide no, probably there is an issue and people are complaining on social media, kí ló dé, Tinubu yẹn, and the government kept quiet on it. It is still a public policy. So at times silent approval can be a public policy. So what I see as the major issue for this academic malpractice of a thing is actually a failed system generally, not even a failed educational system, like a failed system generally. And what do I mean by that? Like OT were inherent in every aspect of our country, give and take. Like our life in this country is programmed along give and take. When I was at the Polytechnic Ibadan, I always remember that scene. In fact, Timan share like woman Pamela because of what happened. And what happened, and this particular thing, I'm not the one that I'm not the type that actually is fond of parties. But then once it is academic something, I'm always interested. So I actually missed my school matriculation ceremony because of this issue. And what happened? We had an orientation for ND1 students at Public Admin Department, and we are treating something on corruption and how it is affecting the public sector, being students of public administration. And the lecturer was making points on aspect of convocation and all. So although the aspect of question and answer, and I asked a question that as a fresh student right now, and we are treating corruption that okay after graduation, come out by bribe, so that we should deliver our work diligently. But then our new school by clean lower on corruption before we are being given assignments, before we are being given probably list of automatic test or anything, you must buy textbook. What about a textbook? They will not even give you assignment at all. So what does that mean? pé tó o bá ti fi lè textbook should be something like, yes, it's actually needed. For me, I buy textbooks a lot. But àwọn tó bá ní owó ẹ̀ńkọ́, we have the school library. So students should be able to go to the library and study on their own to pass. I can encourage you and say yes, error, but about error, you shouldn't force people to buy that thing. So when I ask that question, okay, well, yeah, we would know, and it is written on our student course form that selling of textbook to students is prohibited except the university library. So I asked that question, and then the next thing, everybody was praising me. So the lecturer answered the question. No, they actually collected the mic. The HOD of the department collected the mic and answered the question. It doesn't happen here because you actually want to protect the image of the department. But it's something that is happening. And what happened afterwards? The lecturer walked into the midst of the students and instigated them that ọmọ yẹn ti kó báyìí. So what does that mean? So àwọn tó jẹ́ school two tó ń tẹ̀ ready láti kàwé tẹ́lẹ̀ tí wọ́n ọmọ afẹ́ náà ti. So luckily for me, I actually went to mosque at that time. Teaching yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀. So mo lọ kí òun so 1 p.m. So I was coming back when somebody hinted me, Afa, ẹ má padà lọ sí class o, wọ́n máa ń nọtí yín ta. The next thing like this, I had to just start running back home. And I couldn't come. The next day was supposed to be matric. I couldn't come to school because I'm afraid of getting trapped or beaten by these students. The next day, I couldn't go to school until the next Monday. So next Monday, they came and picked me and Ọlọ́run ṣáà ní dáadáa náà ti ń ṣe. Lẹ́ka ọ̀kan náà ní Afa tẹ̀ no ẹ fílẹ̀ o ara kẹ̀. So we bond the matter that way. So the point is, you need to are rooted in such a way that you like it is not just because people are having pressure or poor performance like me in more way. Like I've trained students across board, even without anything upstairs. If you encourage such a student that go back, whatever you pass will be of your own advantage of your. For instance, this year we all understood and we saw it on social media. Everybody saying complain jam. Usually, I have a tutorial center, and even for my online students, we have a tutorial of 45 students online. Tutorial for the past 3-4 months. None of them score below 200, and I can testify that one she malpractice. So if we have this good orientation that Tobati shaking in on Ototo, we are going to get it right. But because the society has been programmed in such a way that our go for our lafematias, like almost it is very few of us tamani ayora kalẹ̀ síbẹ̀ yẹn pé no èmi ò kí ń ṣe kíní yẹn almost everybody ló wà nínú ẹ̀ so tó ń bá tì fún ẹ so táwa kan bá sọ pé yes this is what we do, people will say no, it's not actually what you do. I've worked in a bank before, and before being the fact that my table, my decks, I'm the one that issue out contracts to vendors. So we want to paint the bank, I want to buy stationery, I want to do all this. Contractors will always come to my desk, so I'm the one that will approve. So the common thing among my colleagues is vendor tó bá ti máa ń fún wọn lówó wọ́n máa gbéṣẹ́ fún wa. So what is ṣe ti pé every system ní kíní ẹwà is not just the academic sector. Then in the academic sector again, àwọn tó wà yẹ kó tó máa kọ́ aspect, that's why I said it's a failed system from the parents. Parents, you know, tó bá ti lọ sí school, like for instance, I have a brother tó fẹ́ wọ SS1 nísìn, wọ́n ṣe test fún wọn, he wants to be in science class, so wọ́n ṣe test fún wọn and tó bá ti gba 50%, they will qualify to science class. So quite a number of them scored below 50%, including my brother. So, but principal ní káwọn parents wá ẹni tó bá ti lè sign on that taking if yes someone said no, go for another department. I've already told you if you are not fit for this, go for another thing. But our parents come and work at job, anything so they are ready to just drop. Future they are affect in the long run. Another part of it is I want to come out curtail academic malpractice in public schools. So we have these marshals, yes, exam copy around. They are coming to this school to collect their own share of the expo. Àwọn ọmọ ti sanwó fún teacher. Invigilator tó bá mú wá, wọ́n máa settle ẹ̀. Ẹni tó ní kó wá manage affairs ẹ̀ pé ṣé wọ́n fún wọn àbí ṣé wọ́n fún wọn, wọ́n náà máa tún gbowó. So the system is already corrupt in such a way that parents are ready to give. The students themselves, because they don't know, I will say they don't know. So if our students are trained in such, and we like give them that orientation in such a way that this thing you don't need to do it, and this is the effect in the long run, you are actually going to scale through. So it's a problem of failed system, not just a problem of failed poor or pressure or poor academic performance or anything.
Don't you think sometimes this country glorifies academic success over academic integrity?
Yes, that will glorify academic success over academic integrity. Most time we actually do that. Most time we actually do that, and that's because academic integrity has actually lost its value in our country. Like almost people, some people will even say irọ́ ni first class òun náà ló níjà yìí wọ́n ṣe ni bó ṣe, so because we don't have that honest opinion anymore that èèyàn kan lè ṣe fúnra rẹ̀. So for me, for instance, I think out of about 60 something or 70, probably 69 courses I did at University of Ilorin, I have 60 A's. So 60 something, so probably I have 2C, yes, 2C. I'm born out of àwọn teacher kan tó ń mark àbí bóyá my own performance, and then the other one abuse. So but when people graduate and people see success, people don't want to understand the journey behind it. People don't, and that's because the only reason why we are glorifying that success over integrity is because a lot of people love this favority. Yes. I was the best Kineko. Something happened recently in one of the groups that I belong. We were celebrating academic success. Like, àwọn èèyàn graduate in university and people were proud of them and we are giving them. Then àwọn kan tó yẹ pé there is someone who decide not to even post about, and to be specific, this person actually has the best result. Àwọn kan graduate in this same academic section. But because everyone náà gbọ́ pé àwọn máa ti ń ṣe ẹ̀wọ́ fún àwọn tí wọ́n graduate, you just have to come out open and say that yes, I actually also finished with first class and this is my result. So the only reason why we are glorifying success over integrity is just for me, I don't see any big deal in it. Like throughout my days at the Polytechnic Ibadan, nobody except we call ourselves Muslim Ummah in the class that actually know that AZEEZ was the best student in the class. So Toma post results gone. A lot of people don't know my name. They call me Alpha at Poly Ibadan. So it was actually learning that the name is Nigeria straight up. So then Toma whole result. ALAMU AZEEZ you don't buy if you know more. So that's just because what do I want to gain in saying I was the best in it? I'm currently the best in it. What matters is that integrity. But yes, we need to actually glorify academic success. It's important because Taban glorify that it's not just about glorifying yes, any best in it. We need to let younger generation or the colleagues, the cohort, see the reason why you are celebrating such a person. There are times in my life where I also always celebrate like the top students alone. Top students, like especially during graduation of any school. I always post the first class, first class because I have quite a lot of them. But later on, I felt the need to always encourage the other students as well, the average students. So it's not because they are not interested in making the top, but all of us cannot be at the top. So it's not possible that Obama are looking. So our academic strength, the average, some of them below average to some extent. So we need to also celebrate them. But what do we need is that integrity. We need to always push it out. We need to orientate people about it. Let them know that once you do this, it translates into national development. Because our human capacity, we are lacking in human capacity a lot. And that's because, like, when I was working in the bank, like I said, I have this colleague who cannot even operate a system. And yet, she was recruited and placed at the customer service section. So now customer about the complain. She does not know how to even handle these people. So that's another aspect of it. If you notice, academic integrity, there is no how you will not have this social skill to manage people. You know how to relate with people. You have read a lot on the book. You have mingled with people, but your own is to just seek for a shortcut to pass. That's always the result. So it will later translate into low human capacity because you just don't know how to do things by yourself. You always want people to put it through. So there is a way I go through her trying to just tell her some things and how she can then enroll yourself. You are pressing phone every now and then you don't know how to operate a keyboard. Why? So learn how to do this, learn how to do it on your own. So most of the things you normally do then is always refer back to her colleague. Simbiat, please help me on this. Simbiat, help me on this. So what if Simbiat is unable to, and to God who made me, this particular colleague of her got pregnant and was on maternity leave and all. She later happened to be the most formidable force in the branch customer service because she later learned how to do things by herself. So integrity might be on our human capacity, which will in turn translate into national development. Because yes, we want the government to provide those enabling environments, but because we are dependent on ourselves. We always want to do things on our way rather than just, okay, I just want to pass and automatic base certificate and they come from the formulation and good. So the goal should not just be, I want to get that job, I want to be the clinic of the ISO and all. So the goal should just be, I want to be someone who's ready to always live a life for others, like I always say.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, I have a lot of questions to ask, but not team from me notification. But even with the fact that I'm getting the notification from my team, I will still go on with asking this question because in Tobati Party, I think this should be mandatory. Because a lot of children are on Kawimo, but social media, from morning to night, they will be on this social media. So Toba Shepe, the little way understand certain things too. Let's make use of this opportunity. I understand you guys, teams, but opportunity. Let me ask. I have two questions because the topic is a very wide one. If we keep engaging on this educational malpractice, what types of leaders and citizens do you think a country that is engaging in the educational malpractice, academic malpractice, are going to produce in the next generation?
I cannot remember the quote specifically, but I know that there is a quote in the Bible where God says, "We'll pick a leader for you from among yourself." So for you. So and on social media, when people like us argue that we should not just blame the government alone, like we should also blame ourselves. People will say otherwise, you're on the payroll of the government, that's why you are supporting the government. And of course, for someone like me, I believe in the iron hand of the state, that the government can actually help us to curb any problem. The government is already like to address, they will address it. I'm coming to that question that yes, which kind of leaders are we producing, of course. But if you look at the country right now, from what the Professor Emeritus Isaac Oloyede, the current JAM registrar, has done for us, perfectly for someone like me, I've been in the educational sector nearly 10 years now, if not more than. I started teaching from as far back as 2013-14. And we know that money, that financial reward we get from our service that has to do with JAM. But because of the policies from the government, because they are fair to her, but because of that, we cannot say the man is actually not doing a lot for us. So the CBT introduced into the country's admission entrance exam and all, which help her. And the government is actually seeing the reason to bring this examination type or mode to our other examination level, like from this year, effective from the next, with GC don't I think next week or so now, they are writing CBT. WAEC, they will write CBT. So subsequently, so people will still see challenge with it, of course. But I know the moment the CBT is also effective in this whole level like JAM, we're able to cope that malpractice to some extent. Because even the government is encouraging it, I will say it. Because how can I be paying school fees for students for 6 years? Because if students are coming to public school for free, that means the government is footing the bill. Yes. So we assume the government is paying their school fees. So our motto after show WAEC, the government will still give target to all the states. See, school you over pass, you are in trouble. What happened? The pressure is on the teacher. Teacher wants promotion. Teacher wants the student to pass, not to have issue. So I don't know encourage my phone, yes, more. So that's why I say most of these students, they do what the society push them to do. So and what we produce, of course, the kind of leaders we have is, and to some extent, if you ask me, majority of our leaders, they are highly educated and they enjoy a very good educational system, because our educational system in the 1960, 1970 is not what we have today. As at then, the competition was very strict. Not everybody wants to go to school, and then we have less than 10 tertiary education in the country compared to over 400 that we have today. So as at then, our dear law, they value it more than. But because of the corrupt political system that has translated, because I want to make policy for us in educational system. So can you go translate to our educational system? Long affect her. So then our youth now, the younger generation, the students, because they have trained us, they have programmed our brain in such a way that malpractice they cannot pass. So definitely, if such a student transform into our political system, the result is always what we have in the country today. So we will not talk about phone, we will not ready to do it. Number 4, any construction of road. Okay, approve the budget for the Elulu one there, Elulu Mabade. So and we understand if you approve 100 or 1 billion for a project, what's going to squander almost 500 million. What is left to achieve that program? So the kind of leaders we have, we always come from the kind of system we have. So I'm sorry to say this, but like as someone that as a Muslim, I also understand that in the Quran, God says we will not change the condition of the people until they change their own condition in themselves. So if we want this aspect of the political system to be serene, we want good governance, then we ourselves should be ready to change ourselves for the better. So this kind of program is something that orientates our students. We need to let them know that if you do it by yourself, of course you are doing it for yourself.
Ah, I should go on with my questions, but torí àsìkò àwọn èèyàn mi ti ń message mi. In fact, the last question I asked,
Yeah.
mo kàn
No
mo kàn ní
problem.
láti pọ̀ tiẹ̀ mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́ pé this thing is about knowledge. Tó bá ti pàtẹ́ ìmọ̀ bóyá educational stuff kò yẹ ká máa ní limit. Lóòótọ́ a lè máa ní bóyá bí difficulty tá a bá fẹ́ máa post ẹ̀ or something. Mo mọ̀ pé táwọn náà try láti avoid
Okay.
ìyẹn. And for this, we will be open brand yẹn fún yín sir. Because tó bá ti di pé bóyá ń lọ síbi ọ̀rẹ́ ń dì báyìí, you've come here to educate us and to enlighten us on something that mo ń pa ẹ̀ rárá. Do you have anything maybe you want to share to the youths outside now? Tó máa jẹ́ bóyá bí advantage àbí tẹ́ fẹ́ share fún gbogbo wa Nigeria entirely. Okay, examination of malpractice kò ń ṣe tó yẹ ká get involved into. Examination of malpractice ní tó yẹ ká jìnnà sí ni. Ṣé mo bóyá ẹ ní nǹkan mi tẹ́ fẹ́ bá wa sọ ẹ ti ń ṣe wá láǹfààní bọ̀ látàárọ̀. Tó máa jẹ́ bóyá bí conclusion tí àwọn èèyàn á tún rí ẹ̀kọ́ mú bẹ̀ ká tún máa jẹ́ àǹfààní fún wọn. I should have wọ́n jẹ́ kí n béèrè questions mi gan but
Yeah.
time yẹn ò gbà mí láyè. So ẹ jẹ́ kí n lò báyìí bí a tẹ bá ní nǹkan tẹ fẹ́ fi conclude fún wa tẹ ní advice tẹ fẹ́ fún wa tẹ ní ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ fẹ́ bá wa sọ lórí topic tá a sọ lé lórí ìsà.
For me, I normally make use of two analogy. One is that no one become great in life by accident. You plan and work to become great. So our tawati money no one okay. Right from our tender age, you should have a dream of us like an image of ourselves. But I felt this is who I want to become. So if you have chosen to become the Okunjubiela of our time, then you should see the reason that right from now you need to plan. Study the life of Okunjubiela. See what the woman has achieved over the years. Okay, woman can't really be by ocean combine. So we should see the reason to do most of all these things by her. Like I said the other time, like if you learn to do it by yourself, you're actually doing it for yourself. So tabat in got affect can image it, then we should plan towards it. The secondly is that I always say that a life worth living is a life lived for others. So tó bá ti jẹ́ pa ní kàn pé gbogbo wọn tẹ́mi náà bá máa fẹ́ máa ṣe mo fẹ́ máa fi ran àwọn èèyàn lọ́wọ́. We will not want to do anything that will probably disorganize, destabilize society or something that will harm the other person. Because that will malpractice. It's more or less like angba konfukan. Because if I cheat, I'm taking the glory that you're supposed to take for being hardworking, for working smart. But for me, yes, I would say I'm working smart by taking shortcuts to success, but I'm actually cheating on that person. So if we learn to live a life for others, and especially in country so we should learn. We should see. I'm just leaving that quote to us, everyone, that let us learn to live a life for others, and because we plan to become big in life, let us work towards it. So the moment we work towards it, I believe our plan will always achieve our plan.
Thank you very much for this, sir. And we do appreciate you, sir. The entire team, Funfact, and our viewers, we do appreciate this, sir. Thank you very much for this, sir. Èèyàn wá ní wá sórí social media platform, ní wá sórí platform wa báyìí, kí wọ́n wá ṣe wá láǹfààní tó pọ̀ tó yìí, kí wọ́n máa ní platform. I don't know, maybe by any chance you have a platform tí ẹ̀yin náà ti ń educate àwọn èèyàn. Àbí ẹ níbi kan tẹ́ ti ń ṣàánú àwọn ọmọ èèyàn, tẹ́ ti ń ṣàánú àwọn Nigerians tí wọ́n ti ń kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ń bẹ̀. Might be a social platform, a social media platform, or tó bá jẹ́ pé nǹkan mìíràn ní tẹ́ o pé bóyá àwọn viewers wa tún lè benefit nílẹ̀. Torí táwa náà torí ẹ̀ gbé tó yẹn kalẹ̀ lójú pé we are not doing it for ourselves. Àwọn ẹlòmíràn tá a bá tún gbé wá a fẹ́ káwọn yẹn máa benefit lára wọn because a fẹ́ kí ẹ̀kọ́ yẹn kí kíní yẹn kó máa lọ ni. We want people to learn. So bóyá ní social media platform tí ẹ lè dárúkọ fáwọn èèyàn tó ṣe pé ẹ máa ń publish nǹkan síbẹ̀ tí àwọn èèyàn wá lè máa bá wa follow yín tí wọ́n dẹ̀ máa kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ńbẹ̀. Àbí ẹ ní learning a class ẹ ti ń túpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn tó lè ṣe pé wọ́n máa jẹ àǹfààní ńbẹ̀ ẹ lè bá wa dárúkọ ẹ̀ so wọ́n á lè come up, wọ́n á lè follow yín lórí ẹ̀ sà.
I just use my personal social media handle and majorly because I've discovered that a lot of people are on Facebook, especially the younger generation. So I make use of Facebook a lot to publish content that benefits people, and it's just my name, AZEEZ ADEBAYO. So we go on Facebook, just search AZEEZ ADEBAYO. I'm very sure there is no other person that does that on Facebook. So we always see those publications, and my personal WhatsApp line, I share content a lot that I use it to educate the general public. So that's just my personal WhatsApp, and then
I won't even want you
Facebook
to
page.
call the personal WhatsApp number because àwọn ẹlòmíì
Okay.
ẹni tẹ́lòmíì bring the same me ọ̀pọ̀ ni. So ẹni tó bá ní interest nípa pé I want to communicate with this man, I want to meet him in person, àbí I want to get in touch with him, ṣé tí wọ́n bá béèrè WhatsApp contact yín lọ́wọ́ wa lẹ́ni tí ó jẹ́ pé bóyá wà reasonable.
You can actually share it. So my WhatsApp number is always open to the public, and I actually reply all messages. Although, so it might not be immediate because of the volume of messages. So I have over 1,000 views on WhatsApp. So, and for that reason, like, the message is always popping always now and then. So I will respond. So the one my baby number, you can share it to them.
All right, thank you very
I'm
much,
always
sir.
ready to
And
respond.
we do appreciate you very much, sir. We appreciate this. A mọ̀ pé lẹ́yìn ọ̀kan àbí méjì àwọn viewers wa náà ti kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́, wọ́n dẹ̀ ti understand àwọn facts tó yẹ pé ó ṣùkú kò sí wọn tẹ́lẹ̀. Thank you very much for that. And to our viewers, to our lovers, we'll be hanging this show here today, and by the special grace of God, next week we'll be bringing another person that's going to be educating us on this platform. Thank you, and have a wonderful day ahead.
Welcome. Thank you very much.